Can I just say, I honestly don't know how you managed to get those doctors to show up here in this city, especially after all the interviews and columns you've done for The Sun. After everything that paper did to hurt us, the way it treated the Hillsborough tragedy and how it vilified our community, you still came. And on top of that, you lied about uniting the party. I'm still a Labour Party member, and I've never seen such a vicious wave of expulsions and witch hunts in my life, and I've been a member for decades. You made 10 pledges. You said you'd carry on the legacy of our movement, but everything you've done since becoming leader has been the opposite. You've walked away from the ideas that inspired tens of thousands of people to join Labour. You've turned your back on strikes, on public ownership, on bold promises. Instead, you've fed into Tory talking points. At this rate, we may as well have a Tory in charge. You're dishonest, and you're dragging the health service and working class communities down with you. And then there's the moment when someone simply asks to go to the toilet and your team starts acting like bouncers, telling people to move back, raising tensions. It says a lot. Keir Starmer's carefully managed image as a calm and competent leader took a serious hit this week when he was ambushed, not by rival MPs or political commentators, but by furious pensioners in Liverpool. The Labour leader, who's spent years trying to present himself as the responsible adult in the room, looked completely shaken as a group of older voters demanded answers he couldn't give. No media spin. No applause lines. Just pure frustration from people who felt abandoned. It happened outside a community centre, where Starmer thought he'd get a nice photo op and deliver a few empty promises about supporting working people. What he got instead was a reckoning. One woman shouted straight at him, "You said you'd renationalise energy, where's that gone?" Another added, "You promised to scrap tuition fees, do you think we forgot that?" The room wasn't buying his carefully crafted excuses about changing circumstances or economic realities. He looked lost. He sounded even worse. Liverpool has a complicated, emotional connection to Labour, a city that once gave the party everything. And now, many here feel betrayed. Starmer rose to the leadership on the back of bold promises. But over time, he's distanced himself from every one of them. What remains is a bland, corporate version of Labour, one that seems more focused on courting the middle class in the South than fighting for the working class in places like this. For many, Starmer's Labour doesn't feel like Labour at all. It feels like a hollowed-out version, run by consultants and PR advisors, not activists and union workers. The people confronting him this week weren't outliers, they were long-time loyalists. They remember what he said. They remember the pledges. And now, they see someone who, in their view, has lied. He campaigned on integrity, transparency, and unity. But the record shows U-turn after U-turn, on tuition fees, public ownership, free school meals, Brexit. When the political winds shift, so does Starmer. And people are noticing. Yes, Labour may be ahead in the national polls. But Starmer's personal approval ratings remain shaky, especially among the party's base. That's dangerous territory. This wasn't just a PR blunder, it was a wake-up call. If Starmer wants to lead this country, he's going to have to confront the reality that more and more of his own supporters don't believe in him anymore. Trust is earned, not managed. And once it's lost, no focus group can bring it back. Meanwhile, the immigration debate is boiling over again, and this time, it's not just policy wonks or backbench MPs weighing in. Public anger is intensifying. A proposed scheme to exchange asylum seekers with France has sparked outrage. The basic idea: Britain returns some migrants to France, and in exchange, France sends some back. But to many, it feels like a shell game with no winners. People want clear action. Not legal jargon. Not symbolic gestures. Many say, anyone crossing the channel illegally should be returned immediately. Either turn the boats back safely or bring them in and detain the passengers for quick deportation. That's the expectation. That's the demand. And anything short of that feels like weakness. Critics argue this government, and especially Labour, doesn't seem to get it. The public is watching beaches overwhelmed by small boats, services stretched thin, and political leaders who seem more concerned about their image than the issue itself. The government talks about humanitarian responses and diplomatic partnerships. But people on the ground see overcrowded schools, housing shortages, and strained healthcare. And they're asking, where is the leadership? Enter Isabel Oakeshott, never shy about stating her views. On a primetime panel show, she delivered a blunt assessment. We're losing the nature of our culture, and this Labour government seems fine with it. The reaction was explosive. Social media lit up. Headlines followed. Her words touched a nerve, one that many feel the political class keeps ignoring. She wasn't just repeating talking points. She was saying what more and more people are thinking. Britain is changing, and not in ways they voted for. And when they raise concerns, they're often met with lectures instead of solutions. The Home Office may scramble to release stats and statements, but the real crisis is much deeper. It's a crisis of sovereignty, of identity, of trust in government. While Labour dances around the issue with polished lines and vague commitments, the public is looking for action. Real action. Because to them, this isn't about policy, it's about control. About safety. About whether their voices still count. And the longer those in power ignore it, the louder the anger will grow. If Starmer and his party think they can ride this storm out with focus group slogans and photo ops, they're in for a rude awakening. The people are watching. And they remember.